This morning, I stumbled upon a Blue Sky post that read, "Let's normalize making fan art for smaller creators. Not to sell or anything, but just as old school love letter style fan art. Sometimes I'll have an urge to do that for a book or comic I enjoyed, and then I'm like, no, that's weird. But is it?" And I thought this was a perfect quote to include in this video, because a lot of what I'd like to say today is, no, it's not weird at all. We should be making fan art and fanfiction for smaller creators and lesser known works of art. Not that we're obligated to, but if we really like something and are feeling creative, we shouldn't be intimidated by the fact that we'll be one of only a few fan artists, instead of being able to hide in the crowd of a large fandom. We shouldn't even be intimidated by being the only person, the very first to post our fan works online for a particular TV show, movie, book, video game, or anything else. Art thrives best when it has fans to support it, right? It helps keep people actively engaging with it and talking about it. In fact, I think some people wouldn't be as into some of their fandoms if they and other fans weren't still churning out fan works regularly for them. I would have probably forgotten about some series if I didn't have their fan art regularly popping up on Tumblr to remind me how much I love to see those little guys. And I wouldn't love certain characters as much if I hadn't read fanfictions that changed my perspective of them and given me new reasons to adore them. Would we still be talking as much as we are about some fandoms if it wasn't for the loyal fans that kept making fanfictions and fan art and memes for them? Or would they have faded more into obscurity by now? In that way, I feel like every good piece of work kind of deserves to have fanfiction. With nuance, of course, nothing's that black and white. But the point is, having someone show that they're invested enough in your work that they were inspired to make their own stories based on it is a major compliment, and it both keeps current fans actively participating with it and potentially helps draw in new fans. I'm sure most of us have some fandom that we got into because we saw some cool fan art for it first, right? Now, with all that in mind, it's time for the story I'd like to share with you all, the whole reason for this video's title. I got an email recently from Locked On Games and Animation. I'd never heard of them before, but they were offering me a free copy of one of their games that's in development, a mystery visual novel called Methods: The Canada Files. This is not a paid sponsorship. They didn't give me any money, to be clear. Just a free copy to check out and share my thoughts with my audience if I'd like. And when I'm not making YouTube videos, I'm often playing video games. So of course, I'm going to take a free one. The only question was, how can I tie this into my channel's themes? I don't make gaming videos. I make videos about things like fanfiction. Then an idea hit me. I quickly went to look up the game on fanfiction websites. It seemed no one had written a fanfiction for the game yet. Understandable, since it's still in early access. The previous game in the Methods series had about 50 fanfictions on AO3, but this one didn't have any yet. And that meant I could do something I'd never done before. Be the first person to write a fanfiction for something. I've written plenty of fanfiction in my time, but even my smallest fandoms already had some fanfiction by the time I got to them. And seeing that things like obscure parody movies had other fans loving enough to write fanfiction always made me feel so happy. So I wanted to do the same for this Methods game. Make sure it had some love in the form of fanfiction. This was, of course, provided I actually enjoyed the game enough to want to write about it. So I played through the currently available chapters, and I loved it. The art style is fun, the characters are all fascinating and memorable, and the mysteries are well thought out with sort of Ace Attorney type deduction gameplay. I can't believe this was made by one person. That's amazing. Again, not sponsored, I just really liked it. Enough to want to write the first fanfiction. Again, all the characters are interesting in their own ways, so it was going to be hard to figure out who I wanted to write about. I had some little ideas of what I could do with the 5 main characters. There's a scene where they get snowed in together for an hour, and that could lead to some tropey fluff between teammates, right? But my mind kept going back to 2 of the, well, I guess I'd call them minor antagonists to a degree, though it's hard to say when you're dealing with an unfinished mystery. Game Master Fonse and Game Master Tosca. They had a little bit of a grumpy and sunshine dynamic going on, and I liked that. They hadn't interacted much so far, but that's the beauty of fanfiction. You get to use your imagination to expand upon things that canon hasn't. So, I decided I wanted to write a fluffy little story between Fonse and Tosca, exploring their differing attitudes. And I quickly got to work, writing fanfiction in a clinic waiting room. Because, come on, we've all written fanfiction in public before, right? Then, over the course of a couple days, I finished my short one-shot fic, an encounter outside the main plot where the optimist Tosca tries to get pessimistic Fonse to see the bright side of life. It could be seen as platonic or romantic, depending on how you want to look at it, so I tagged it ambiguous relationships and hugs, even though there's only one hug. And nothing else, because I don't know how to tag short stories. This is my public AO3 account if you want to go read it. It's named Tokyo Jane because that's an anagram of Tonka Joey. My name is not Jane, and I am not from Tokyo. My profile picture is a baby from the Playmobil movie. No, that's not me. I wish I had that much hair. Anyway, you can go read the story there if you're interested, or you could go play Methods the Canada Files first if you want, or stick around here to the end of the video and hear me read the first half of the story. I'll put a full reading on my Patreon page. But before that, in the spirit of this video, I want to challenge you to spread the fanfiction joy and write a fic for one of your fandoms that has zero or next to no fanfictions online. Be the change, start the trend. It doesn't have to be long or perfect, it just has to be made with love. Because doing this, knowing that now this game I like has some fan presence on AO3, thanks to me just writing 2,000 words, makes me want to do it again. I want to write more Methods fanfiction if I get inspired. I want to keep an eye out for other things I like that have no fanworks and help give them that boost by being the first. And I hope someone else will see it and be inspired to join in too. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here, this isn't some groundbreaking thing. For every fandom with fanfiction, there was always one person who posted first. It all just ties back to that Blue Sky post I showed at the beginning of the video. Sometimes people feel awkward making stuff for small fandoms. And trust me, I'm someone who always feels awkward posting stuff online. I get it. I don't want all eyes on me, I just like creating things and sharing them. But it's actually kind of reassuring to post in a small fandom. I can't fully explain why, but it's like, if someone else does find it, I know they're either someone like me who's just a cozy fan of an indie game, or someone exploring random stories who might then be inspired to try that game, which is great. And what's the worst that can happen? They don't like it? Whatever, that's fine. I'm showing love for something I like, and that's all I really care about. So, that's my message for today. Don't be afraid to be the first to post something, to help kickstart a fandom's presence online with your stories or art. I did it, and I haven't died yet. Instead, I feel pretty good. So give it a try sometime if you feel inclined. Anyway, to close this video out, here's a bit of my story. I will not be doing the accents the characters should have, because you will all unfollow me if I try a French or Ukrainian accent, because it would make your ears bleed. But I hope you'll find it relaxing or interesting, and thank you for watching the video. Here is my story. Fonse didn't typically bother to smoke outside, but Kane had started to cough passive-aggressively to make a point that her fistful of lit cigarettes was becoming a distraction as the game masters all worked together on the finishing touches for the next round's mystery. And Fonse would rather have an excuse to get away from the bossy woman than stop enjoying her nicotine. So she left the building and wandered toward the trees to see if Canadian nature was really as great as everyone said it was. She doubted it. She also didn't expect Tosca to follow her. Fonse discovered this quickly. Being tall gave Tosca a long stride that helped her easily catch up before Fonse got very far, and also made her footsteps loud enough to notice, even in the grass. "What are you doing here?" she asked the other detective with annoyance, turning to face her. "Did Kane bother you too? Or did she send you out here to bother me more?" Tosca gave a small, friendly smile that bothered Fonse. "I didn't want you to be all alone out here. Everyone deserves some good company." "There's far more value in having peace and quiet," Fonse scoffed before taking another drag of a cigarette. But I'll concede that you're at least better company than Kane. Dear God, that woman loves the sound of her own voice. Conver's personal bootlicker. Tosca shook her head and offered a more positive perspective. She's young, she only wants a chance to prove herself. Of course, that's all it is, Fonse responded sarcastically. Even if what Tosca said was true, it didn't make Kane look any better, or make her behavior any less unbearable. Tosca's smile faded, but that didn't make Fonse regret anything. She was too old for regrets, too hardened by life to be soft and care about hurting anyone's feelings. Besides, Tosca was clearly fine. She quickly moved on from the conversation, walking past Fonse with a light step. Fonse watched with crossed arms as she continued to smoke, half imagining that Tosca might march straight into the forest and wrestle a bear just for fun, then invite it to dinner. But instead, she stopped only a couple of yards away, kneeling to get a better look at a small blue flower that Fonse never would have noticed. And if she had, she'd likely step on it on purpose. "Look at this lonely flower," Tosca said, to which Fonse rolled her eyes. Flowers can't be lonely. They have no emotion. "Then maybe you two have more in common than you think," Tosca joked with a light laugh, looking over her shoulder towards Fonse with a twinkle in her eye. Then she turned back to the flower, searching through the plants surrounding it with a gentle sweep of her hand, as she continued, "Wouldn't it be nice if the lonely flower had a friend? Aha, here's one, a little ladybug, or where I'm from, we call them little cows." She gently guided the insect onto her hand, transferring it to the flower's petals, then sighed with contentment. But Fonse was unimpressed. "If you're trying to make a point, you've failed," she said. "Just like the bug hasn't improved that flower's existence by being forced upon it, you have not improved mine. Let me smoke in peace." "Why do you think there has to be a point to be made? Isn't it enough that it's beautiful?" Fonse rolled her eyes and squinted up towards the bright midday sky as she retorted, "There is no such thing as beauty. It's a false concept made up so people can pretend their lives are less miserable." "Just because you think that's true doesn't mean it is." Fonse saw that as a challenge. She took a step closer to better observe Tosca's silly display, one side of her lips pulling back into a scowl as she watched the ladybug dance across the plant's leaves. "I recognize that flower," she noted. "Its species is poisonous. Its consumption brings an ugly death. The mud beneath it is cold and damp. It will stain my shoes, track everywhere, and make an ugly mess. Not to mention, the soil is likely riddled with ants that will also follow, lay their foul eggs, and spawn into 1,000 more uglies. They'll take over our kitchen as they search for the crumbs of breakfast. Crumbs made because even my croissant is ugly too, a crumbling mess that flakes apart at the lightest touch." She gestured towards the ground, the cigarettes hanging limply between her fingers, ashes falling off the tips and littering the earth. Tosca may have not been trying to make a point, but Fonse was. With finality, she reiterated, "That flower is ugly. Nature is ugly. My shirt is ugly. I am ugly. Everything is ugly. That's the honest truth. And in our line of work, truth means everything." Tosca's brow creased with concern as she rose to her feet and reduced the distance between them once more. "Inez," she called out softly, "of all things, why would you say you're ugly?" Fonse let out a sound that only a disenchanted elderly French woman who had seen too much could voice, a sharp, dry laugh with no real humor. "How has this world not chewed you up and spat you back out yet? You're supposed to be a detective. Put the pieces together," she told Tosca, disappointed that someone in their 40s could still hold such a childish worldview. Fonse saw everything much differently, explaining, "The real world is ugly, and I am a realistic person. Unswayed by frivolities, bitter, selfish, old, wrinkled. People who see beauty are fools, but they'd certainly never find it in me." Tosca stared blankly. Those deep-set eyes of hers were often hard to read, but Fonse was convinced for a moment that she had gotten through to her, snuffed out that ridiculous optimism. Good riddance. But she was wrong. Tosca started to slowly smile again, lifting one strong hand to give the older woman's bony shoulder a reassuring squeeze. Your wrinkles aren't an ugly thing. They're a living book of history on your body. It shows what a wonderful, long life you've led, how many stories you have to tell, Tosca disagreed with deep conviction in her voice. I love your stories, Fonse. You are a beautiful woman, and I admire your beautiful life. Big thank you to my Patreon members, my Little Ruse, Kuzki55, Nebulatic Vexen, Donka42, I Am a Noodle, John Huang, Laser Scorpio, Night Avenger, Mintara, Somnophobic Danny, Savage Otters, Valzy, Terabyte AIX, Kestrel, Dragonborn Canid, and Angie Ender. Thank you so much for your extra support on Patreon. It means the world to me, and I'm so grateful to have you here. You guys rock, and I hope you enjoy the little bits of extra content I post there on Patreon for you. Same goes to my YouTube channel members, my Mini Ruse, Taylor Thompson, Foxstar Killer, and This Person 10. Thank you for your extra support. I'm so glad to have you be part of my YouTube channel. You guys are really cool, and I appreciate you so much. And of course, again, thank you to everyone else for watching. If you've got a small fandom that you want to help boost up, and you want to write fanfiction for it, or inspire other people to write fanfiction for it, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And here's your chance to help get some more eyes on it, and help expand your fandom a bit. I think that'd be awesome. And check out Methods the Canada Files if you're interested. Again, not sponsored, I just got it for free, and I liked it. So, that's the end of the video. Have a great day, everyone.